Tonight, the City of Portsmouth is working to boost internet access throughout the community. During the summer, construction began on a 55-mile fiber cable network. 13 News Now reporter Evan Watson joins us with the latest on efforts to cut the digital divide.
Right now, the discussion is how City Council will pay for the connection, but Portsmouth is all in on the idea of building its own fiber network. Many cities across the country are also all in, trying to enhance connectivity, and Portsmouth council members see the city as a conduit, not just for the city, but for Hampton roads as well.
In Portsmouth, the debate isn't if City Council should pay for 55 miles of fiber cable lines, it's how.
The city is always free to say, no, we'll just pay the $8 million.
City Council is working to fund the 5-year project that started this year. If possible, some council members want to fund the fiber lines independently without the help of a company. This would keep control in-house.
Provide bandwidth to our municipal operations without having to go through a carrier.
As council members looked at an example of a new fiber line, Chief Information Officer Daniel Jones explained why this is important.
Broadband connectivity is what electricity was at the turn of the century.
He says businesses are looking for connection, not location, and internet users benefit from a more connected city.
Our aspirations behind this is to bring carriers into the city for competition. Most residents now, it's a Verizon or a Cox.
The project could be completed by 2022. Portsmouth would control the fiber lines, creating revenue and enticing other internet service providers to join the mix of options. Jones says it would boost connectivity throughout Hampton roads as a region. Plus, these new lines would offer new options to the people in the city who need them the most.
Reaching areas that isn't currently covered, but it's also reaching areas that are unserved and underserved.
Currently, Portsmouth has allocated more than $3.5 million to the project. That means the city needs to fund about $5 million more in construction costs over the next 4 years. The City Council is exploring public-private partnership options, but tonight the mayor and some council members said they'd prefer to keep full control of the fiber lines in-house if possible. In studio, Evan Watson, 13 News Now.